aspects that our communities have. All right, next slide, please. So like I did indicate that I'm going to foreground my discussion on youth participation in democracy, focusing on the participation aspect. But before I come to the participation aspect, just to give an overview of what these terms mean as we use them in everyday language. I think we are all in agreement that when we talk about democracy, we are talking about a governance system where the majority's will is respected. And this obviously creates a lot of interesting and exciting questions because having said earlier on that the youth are the biggest chunk in most of our countries' populations. If we say democracy is the rule of the majority, are we seeing our young people's will, our youth will, being given space in our governance system? Then if the answer is no, what are we doing about that? And why are we not then respecting the will of the majority of our population? But it is also looking at respecting the views of the minority, the rights of the minority groups as well. So it's not only about the will of the majority, but also factoring and taking into consideration that we also have minority groups that are not so dominant within our communities, within our societies, within our countries. And the tenets and principles of democracy detect that we respect their rights, we respect their voices as well. We have different forms of democracy. We have representative democracy as well as participatory democracy. I'm happy that today we have the leadership of the community reporters here with us, who have just been elected into office through a very grueling and vibrant, robust process, I've been told. That people went out to campaign, to share their manifestos, and to convince their colleagues to vote them into the leadership positions that were on offer. This is one version, perfect example of what a representative democracy means. You are there as an elected official or office bearer representing a given constituency. So as you are the leadership of the CEMCOD community reporters in Uganda, I'm told more than 200, you represent that constituency, but also in different communities where you are working, where you are serving. So the representative aspect of democracy then means that we are there to represent others. We are not just representing our own interests, but we represent the constituencies, the groups, or the communities that have entrusted us with this responsibility to lead them, to provide leadership in various capacities. You have the chair, the vice chair, you have the welfare officer, you have publicity officer, and so forth and so forth and so on. So in these different capacities, you provide leadership, and That's how representative democracy works. There are other examples in our communities that we can talk about. Can talk about your local councillor, you can talk about your local MP and so forth, but they are there to serve the constituencies or the communities that have elected them into office. And the second aspect, which is the participatory democracy, then is where we participate in democratic processes and spaces that are available to us. And that's where I'm gonna spend some bit of time on, because it is very critical that we look at the challenges young people face, that you face as community reporters, as community leaders, because you are leaders in your own right, and ask questions around participation. Are we given space to participate so that our voices are heard, so that our contributions are acknowledged? And there is a ladder that represents the participation in a democratic space, starting from the first step to the last, which is number 8. So we have levels of seeming involvement, and then we have increasing levels of participation. The first step, we have manipulation. This is where adults use youth to support their own projects and pretend they are the results of youth inspiration. So the youth are not given space, but they are manipulated so that they support the cause and the goals of the elderly in the community without factoring in their own interests. And that's at the bottom rung of the ladder, the base of the ladder. And we know that this is an undesirable situation. This is a very bad situation. We don't want even to find ourselves here. The next one is decoration, where young people help implement adults' initiatives. So because sometimes there is so much talk about youth participation, you find that youth then are invited just to tick the boxes, to decorate adults' initiatives, so that they will say, but we have young people here. But if you look at the actual involvement, the youth are not there. Then the next step is participation for sure. Young people have very little or no influence on their activities. So it's just almost like the previous one, to tick the boxes, to say, yes, we work with young people, we have young people in our structures, but if you interrogate the involvement and participation of young people, it's actually not there. Then the fourth one is young people assigned tasks and informed how and why they are involved in a project. So it's not their initiative. They are given a set of instructions. They are told what to do, when to do, and why to do it. And they have to do that. So there is no power for youth here. It's all about them coming into the space. They are invited and they're given instructions. And then on the fifth part of the ladder, we have adults making decisions and young people being consulted here and there, and sometimes being informed. But still, these are not their spaces. Still, these are not their initiatives, and they don't make decisions. It's all adult spaces that invite young people, consult them, and inform them. Not so that they can make a contribution or make a decision. No. And then the sixth one, still adults' initiative, but the youth are given a little bit of space where they can make a contribution, where they can make decisions. yeah, they're beginning now to appreciate the value young people bring into development spaces, into community projects, but this is not their space yet. And then the next one is 7, where young people's initiative now is beginning to take shape and their leadership. These are spaces where we find young people establishing their own structures, getting themselves organized, taking the initiative to tackle some of the challenges they face in their communities. Then the last one is where young people's initiative and decisions are made in partnership with adults, and there is mutual respect. Young people now have power, and they are viewed as partners. They are not given instructions or told what to do and when to do it, but they are also are in a space where they can establish their own institutions, make their own decisions, and the elder realizing that there is value these young people are providing into the space, reaching out sometimes to collaborate with them. But that's where we begin to see also young people standing up to be counted in terms of providing leadership, in terms of providing solutions to challenges that we face in our country, in our communities, in our organizations as well. Because these are spaces where young people can exercise leadership, where young people can get involved, where young people can participate. So the participation aspect in a democratic dispensation is very critical. And this ladder indicates the different ranks, the different layers of participation. Maybe I'll just pause a little here to ask you just quickly to indicate, where do you think you are as young people who are in this room? And why do you think that's where you are? I hope I have not been speaking to myself.
No, Prince, we are getting you.
All right, that's great. So yes, if we can just for 2-3 minutes type on the chat where we think as young people who are here, we are in terms of the participation steps that I've shared here, this ladder. Where do you situate yourself on this ladder? And which step are you on this ladder? I would ask David to watch the chat. I wanted to get those reactions so that we can engage. Like I did indicate earlier, I want us to have a conversation and to be in a discussion. So yes, from time to time, I'll be asking some of these questions so that we keep the conversation lively and interactive. Yes, I'm seeing Nash saying, I think 4. Okay, let's keep them coming. Let's keep them coming. There are about maybe 10 of us, or maybe, yeah, 9, thereabout, leaders who are in this room, youth leaders. I want to, yes, someone says 3. I mean, step 7, because in active political, is it participation, city councillor? Okay. All right. Okay. There's one saying young people's initiative and participation. Okay. Yes. Maybe one or two more. Okay. Every step is participation of youth, no matter how small it is. Some people are asking, is it possible for one to be in two positions? Yes, it is possible. It is possible. Thank you very much for your submissions. And maybe the next question before I proceed, what do you think you will require as a youth leader to be at the summit of the ladder, to be at the top, at the very top? Yeah, maybe we can start with 6, 7, and 8, thereabout, where you now have space to make decisions, joint decisions. Yes, I think it is through contributing in decision making that you can begin to effect change. And then, of course, step 7, yeah, being recognized as a leader. Just a quick one. What do you think it would take for you? Probably it is food for thought. But having listened to where CEMCOD's journey earlier on from the executive director, I think we can give CEMCOD some credit as they celebrate their 10 years this year. It's not so many organizations, by the way, that have spaces where young people are provided opportunities to organize themselves, have a structure, a leadership structure like the one that you have today. And looking at the role that structure is going to play going forward, I think it's something that we should all be excited about, something that we need to celebrate. I work with a lot of organizations in Africa, and I know when I'm talking about providing spaces for young people, not only in government, not only in private sector, but also even in civil society spaces like these, it is still a challenge. And to see organizations like CEMCOD that are intentional and deliberate about creating structures and spaces for young people to exercise their leadership is something that we need to commend. It's something that is exciting. I think the journey so far has reached a point where we're going to see more spaces like these for young people come on board, and also for young people to take advantage of these spaces, to make these spaces count so that they dispel and unmask some of the myths and misconceptions about themselves that we see every day in our communities, in our organizations, where it is often said that youth are leaders of tomorrow. And I was listening to the previous presentation by Prosi, who says that at CEMCOD, youth are seen as leaders. They don't agree with the notion that you are leaders of tomorrow, but you are leaders today in your own rights, in your spheres of influence. And this is one sphere of influence where you can demonstrate leadership and make those naysayers, those who think that youth cannot lead, see that, oh, all right, we've been wrong all along. So these youth can actually add value to our communities. They can actually provide solutions to the challenges that we are facing, because it is through participation and through making use of these spaces that we can provide a new thinking around leadership, and more so around youth leadership. So as we celebrate CEMCOD's 10 years, and as we celebrate your leadership today, this is the first time it has happened, something that is a best practice. Other organizations can emulate this, can replicate this, where these structures are for and by young people through participating in democratic processes. There is something that even adults can learn from what you have just done, that yes, if youth are given spaces, they can conduct themselves professionally, peacefully. And that was an election that you had, and I was told that even though it was a highly contested one, but people were able to conduct themselves peacefully in an orderly fashion. These are things we need to celebrate, document, and even write about as young people, to share even with the broader community that, hey, look at what we are doing as young people, and we have come of age. And when we talk about democracy, probably you think that it's something very big that we're talking about, but it is these small gestures that we do as individuals, as organizations, as communities, that define democracy, that bring democracy into action. So you've just participated in a democratic process, and I would like to congratulate you once again. That is how young people can exercise leadership, and participation is very critical. And looking at this ladder, I want also to caution and to advise that, because now you are organized as young people, you know, there are so many organizations out there, so many people from various groupings who would look at your structure now and say, wow, look at how these youth are providing the needed change in our communities. You are the leaders we've been waiting for. They will come to you and want to take you back to step number one, to manipulate you. Because sometimes we have this tendency of wanting to reap where we did not sow, wanting to benefit where we did not even toil. So there's going to be a lot of, obviously, engagement with many organizations who look at you and see your structure and say, wow, we think we can work with you this way. And they would want to manipulate you, because some people don't believe that young people are leaders. So they would want you to decorate their proposals. Especially some would want to indicate that, we work with young people, we've even a structure, they are organized this way, these are their names, and so forth. So you need to guard your space jealously, but also make it count and make sure you deliver tangible benefits to your organization, to your community, and to the constituency that you are serving, that is other fellow community reporters. That's how participatory democracy works. Yes, I think we can proceed to the next slide. Next slide, please. Still related to the ladder of participation, but now we are putting on our lenses and want to see how participation works. These are approaches to youth participation. And we have three basic ones where young people are still viewed by some organizations, by some stakeholders as beneficiaries, mere beneficiaries, target groups. Case for charity, they are not in a space or position where they matter. So we'll think for them, we'll provide for them. We know what is good for them, and we'll provide that. So you go back in your mind to the first 2-3 letters. That's where this situates young people seen as beneficiaries, people who are not in a position to make decisions. And this is not where we want to find our youth today. And this is not where you are. And then we also have collaborators, where young people are seen as collaborators. This now is changing for the better, where youth are being engaged as partners because of the value they bring onto the table, the value they bring and the conversations that we have, because of the solutions they bring to our communities. When you are out there doing your work, maybe writing stories about challenges and solutions and making changes, tangible changes happen through your contributions. That's how the collaboration also works, like, because people see that you have something you are contributing. And when they engage with you, they want to collaborate with you because there is value that you are adding. And we are moving towards youth initiators, where youth realize through their innovation, creativity, that they have come of age. They can provide leadership and they can support one another as leaders. And also even the elderly in the community realize that, wow, these youth are leaders. They are initiators of cutting-edge, solution-oriented interventions. And there's a lot of respect here, and there's a lot of participation here. And that's the kind of youth leadership that we want to see in CEMCOD, in our communities, in our nations, because we know that if we leverage on youth creativity, innovation, and energy, then we can attend to the challenges that we face today, be it around sustainable development, where we still battle with a lot of issues that have continued to elude the interventions that we have come up with. But if young people are given space, they can provide some new innovation. And it is through recognizing that power you have that people will give you the space to participate, but also that you as young people, you intentionally, boldly create such spaces, participate, and make change happen in our different communities. Yes, we shall proceed to the next slide. Yes, if there is a question, you are free to raise your hand or to drop it on the chat. Sometimes we don't have to get to the end of the presentation when there is something that you have not understood. But the next one is strategy. Yes, strategy sometimes is what will separate serious organizations and those that are not so serious. But we have a clear strategy for participation as youth. And this is very critical, especially looking at our structure as the community reporters leadership. What strategy do we have to ensure that we participate in these democratic processes, be it at organizational level, at community level, or national level, and even global level? Because when we talk about some of these terms, you think that they are a prism for other people, other continents outside there. No, we talk about our communities as being part of the globe. So yes, indeed, let's claim that. But how do we do that? Through coming up with cutting edge solutions that can be replicated by other youth, by other communities out there. I'll come back to this point later because I want to demonstrate clearly how a local idea in our local community is and can be a global idea. How our strategy as CEMCOD community reporters leadership team or leadership committee can come up with a global strategy that can change the course of history. It is in our hands, and we can do that as well. How do we start? How do we get started, with the strategy? So the first aspect is whether or not we have a strategy. If we don't have one, let's come up with a strategy. But how do we do that? It is very critical, very important as a leadership team. I know that this is probably one of a series of workshops where the leadership will be empowered to do and discharge their duties and their mandate going forward. But one of the things that you need to get right from the outset is to have a strategy as a team. In the 2-year tenure that you have, what is your strategy of achieving the goals and objectives that you have set for yourselves? If you don't have that strategy, it will be very difficult to even get there. You won't even know whether or not you are on course. And which youth are you going to be working with? Why should we be working with these youth? Are we responding to gender differences? Where should we be working? Be it by region, be it by sector, be it by community. These are questions that come into your strategy or that will help you structure or craft your strategy. How should we be working with these youth? What resources do we require to work with these youth? How will we measure whether our strategy is successful? So as the leadership team of the more than, say, 200 community reporters, definitely this is something that you need to have in your tools bag, a strategy that shall continue to serve as a blueprint that you can always revisit and check to see whether you are on track, whether you are serving your community well, and so forth. Next slide, please. Yes, and this speaks to strengthening youth participation that we have spoken about, and it is at individual, social, and systems level. But how do you do that? It is very important that we give ourselves the challenge as young people to be informed. Make sure that when it comes to issues that we have, be it in our community, be it in our region, we create time so that we have knowledge about these issues. And once you have knowledge about these issues, it is easy for you to brainstorm and come up with solutions. So as an individual and as a leader, make it your habit. Make it a habit that every time you're looking at issues in your community, try to research, try to be that expert when it comes to these issues. Have information in your fingertips. Research around these issues. We are lucky today. Information is just available at the click of a button. So leaders, don't be found wanting when it comes to this. And it is one aspect of strengthening youth participation from an informed position. And it is from an informed position that then we look at how we can positively, as young people, support our community, support our network. What value do you bring onto the table? If we have informed choices, decisions, and we can engage in be it a community dialogue meeting on a given issue, and we demonstrate that these issues we're talking about, we know what we're talking about as young people. And not only are we going to stop there, but because we've even done our research, we're going to come up with evidence-based and research-supported solutions. What is it that has worked in one community, that has worked in one country, that you think can work in your community? And it is through making bold, intentional steps as a young person, as a young leader, to demonstrate that, yes, you take a keen interest on the issues in your community and you want to bring on board solutions supported by evidence, by research. And then the next one is at the systems level. This speaks to greater civic engagement. How do we participate, especially as young people, in spaces where we are gathered as a community, whether it's a government program, whether it's a community issue? And because participation, like we said, is a critical aspect of democracy, where we need to exercise voice, we need to also contribute decisions. We also need to provide solutions. These are all very important aspects where young people can demonstrate leadership, and this strengthens your participation. Next slide, please. We would like also to look at some of the principles of youth participation, which we feel are very critical. And the list is not exhaustive, but I picked out on quite a few that will be very critical, especially to youth leaders like yourselves. We'll look at freedom of expression as the first one. This is probably the hallmark of all rights that we have anchored on the UN Convention of Rights and the UN Charter on the Bill of Rights, freedom of expression, where it is important that we exercise voice. And it is through exercising voice, through expressing ourselves at platforms like these ones, platforms maybe in our community, if there is a community meeting, as a young leader, that's an opportunity for you to express yourself, but also demonstrating that indeed you are a leader who has come of age. And remember, we're still on participation. This is how we can make democracy work for us, through ensuring that we participate. And it is through freedom of expression that we express our different views. In our diversity, we know that we might not see things the same way, but it is through freedom of expression that we have that we can demonstrate and also share our view or how we see things. Next slide, please. It's a very important aspect that we also need to protect and guard as young people, as young leaders. Valuing the creativity, wisdom, and contribution and time of youth. Like I indicated earlier on that, there is a misconception out there that youth, and we saw in the two models that I shared, the ladder of leadership and the lenses of youth participation, that young people are still not given that space. But through creativity and innovation, and through taking advantage of today's modern technologies, young people have demonstrated that they can add value and bring solutions onto the table by being creative, by being innovative, by providing new ways of looking at things, of doing things. And this is what will also make your leadership effective if you take advantage of some of today's expansive opportunities provided by new technologies. As young people, you have this opportunity that the elderly, most of the elderly people don't have, where you can be innovative, where you can be creative, provide creative solutions, contribute these solutions to your communities, to your organizations. And that's how we change the narrative that we are leaders of tomorrow. And that is how we can participate effectively in democratic spaces and processes. Next slide, please. Of course, respecting the diverse backgrounds and experiences of youth. Young people come from diverse sociocultural backgrounds, lived experiences, and environments. We should celebrate young people's differences as well their similarities. This is very critical. And even as we are gathered here, we're from different communities, different regions. That's the diversity that we celebrate. And this diversity is something we can leverage to enrich our experiences, but also to tackle challenges that we face. When we have views that are diverse, it's an opportunity for us to brainstorm, where we have an opportunity to even interrogate the different views and ideas we have. Iron sharpening iron. And it is through accepting that diversity brings value to our group, to our leadership team, because much as we don't probably see things the same way, but it is those views that would then form a repertoire of solutions. And when we look at them together and say, okay, this view, yes, that view, but this one, I think we can test it. So it is how, as young people, you are going to work with your communities, with others as well. Allow that diversity to thrive. This is part of democracy that we talk about. the moment we celebrate that diversity and don't suppress those that we don't agree with, then it shows that we have come of age as leaders. And we notice and realize that in our diversity, solutions will emerge. And it gives us the opportunity really to interrogate that. And we can proceed to the next slide, please. Maybe if I can check, moderator, how much time do I have left? Yes, moderator. Hello? Hello, moderator. Yes. How much time do I have?
I was trying to use this smartphone to unmute, but it was not unmuting. Thank you, Mr. Timothy. You are Mr. Asithori, but you're going up to 2:30. So
Okay.
you still have, yes.
I still have something like 14 minutes, 13 minutes now. Okay, that's good. So these slides will be shared with you as well. Let's proceed to the next one. Because now I want us to look at positive youth development. So all these principles that we've been sharing are critical because they speak to the heart of participatory democracy. The how aspect of how we make democracy work for us. It is through ensuring that there is participation, and participation is key. And that's how we want to approach it as youth. And not only do we look at it as something that is usually a misconception by some members of the community, especially the elderly, that youth are not yet ready to lead. But ourselves, I want to pose a challenge that will also maybe take home. Do we as leaders provide spaces for others, even those that we don't agree with, or those that see things differently, also to participate in some of these spaces? Or we are quick to shut them down and move on? Because when we talk of participation, that's very critical. And it's not only something that we will have a discussion on and close the chapter, but we want this committee to look at some of these principles that I've taken so much time today because of their importance in leading, working with other youth, with communities, to allow participation to be at the heart of everything that we do, and make sure that our spaces have enough opportunities for people to participate, to contribute, to air their views. And that's how we want to lead, even as young people. The next one that I want us to look at is on our leadership now as young people. If you can quickly move to how we lead, please. That's the aspect that I want to now look at, given, yes, how might we lead, given the limited time I have. Yes. For the interest of time, I'll quickly go through the slides. I would have loved to ask questions for you to define in your own words what it means to lead, what you understand by the term leadership. But the term leadership has different definitions or different meanings to different audiences and to different people. The way some define leadership, for example, I'll look at even some of the definitions that I hear might not be the same way we understand leadership. Some might define it in a totalitarian way, but some might look at it from an open democratic way. But these are a few examples that we'll look at. The first one is a leader is anyone who wishes to help at this time. Anyone who wishes to help at this time. And I would like to believe that you have taken this challenge, this leadership role, because you want to help, because you want to add value. Not that because you want to extract something. So that's what this definition says. Next slide. And that's Margaret Whitley. Then Ronald from Harvard University says it is the mobilization of the resources of a people, of an organization to make progress on the difficult problems it faces. You can even look at it from a community level or national level, not just an organization. But yes, at organizational level, right now, we can relate to this. This is where we are, where CEMCOD has mobilized its resources to create spaces for young people to come and lead so that they tackle difficult problems. CEMCOD works within the communities of Uganda, different communities. And we know that in our communities, there are lots of challenges. Some of you have written many stories about some of these challenges. And we realize that even through your writing, we have found solutions. Communities have found solutions through your writing. And that's leadership, where we mobilize resources according to Ronald. So if you look at the first definition, agreeing and coming to lead or to help at a time like this. And then this one, mobilization of resources, and resources could be of a people, it could be of a community, it could be of an organization to make progress on the difficult problems we face. And where we come from, that's where our leadership is needed the most in our various communities. But also where you find yourselves in this leadership structure that you have just established as youth leaders through a democratic process. You're going to be tackling challenges that we face as communities. You are organized, you are coordinated. Now, this leadership structure is the one that shall then provide leadership through mobilizing these resources. And you have more than 200 community reporters, youth leaders in various communities and so forth. How you provide that leadership is very critical. And we want to also appreciate that, yes, much as we have been given this opportunity to lead others, but the challenges we face can not only be tackled by us alone, but we need to work with others. We need to work collaboratively because these are difficult problems. So we'll proceed to the next slide. These are just definitions of leadership. And I'm dwelling on them so that you understand the role, the mandate that you have And when we talk of youth leadership, these are some of the things that we want to focus on. First, to understand why we have responded to the call to lead and what it means to lead and how we're going to do that. We'll look also at the next definition, which is service leadership. This one is based on the servant leadership model, where it begins with that natural affinity feeling that someone would want to serve. First, before you become a leader, you want to serve your fellow community reporters. You want to serve your community. And that service is what then transforms you or molds you into becoming a leader. First of all, is service. That's very critical. And that's service leadership or servant leadership. This has its roots on servant leadership. You are not there because of the position you are occupying. I'm now the chair of the reporters. I'm now the deputy chair or the vice chair. I'm now the secretary. No, people should listen to what I say, and it's only my word that will count. That's not how service leadership is about. It does not look at the position, but it looks at that deep-seated desire to serve your community, to serve your organization, in this case, CEMCOD, to serve your fellow community reporters. The role, yes, makes it a bit structured and coordinated, but the fundamental issue is that I am of service to others, and that's service leadership. All these are different definitions of leadership that then determine how we serve as leaders. Next slide, please. Then looking at positive youth development, youth positive development. This is a broad approach. Given the limited time I'll have, I will just hazard some important aspects, but this dwells very much on how young people are viewed by their families, by their communities, by their nations, not as problems to be addressed, but as viable assets, vibrant resources that can transform our organizations, that can transform our communities and change our nations for the better. That's what youth positive development entails. We see young people, youth, as people who are innovative, people who have skills. These are assets. These are creatives who have the opportunity to transform our organizations, communities, and countries for the better, and we will give them space to do that. That is what is at the heart of youth positive development. Proceed, please. Yes, I've summarized that. Next. Right. So just a quick one. If you can type on the chat, who is your role model leader or an example of a leader? Someone that you would want to emulate and you think they are a role model to you. You can just drop the names on the chat. I see Chagulan. I see Aka, okay, Bobby Wine, all right, okay, or AKA Bobby Wine, all right, okay. All right, keep them coming, keep them coming. It's okay, Mseveni, okay, yes, keep them coming. Maybe if we can have two or more, just even two, yes. Then we proceed. Barack Obama, yes. Maybe one more last. Emma the Great, director established development authority. Emma the Great. Okay, Gaddafi. All right. So it looks like most leaders are male. That's what I'm seeing. Just like with male leaders, except one, Emma. All right. But if you look at the names that have been shared, you agree with me that these people have different leadership styles, but they are all leaders in their own right. And there's some aspect or an aspect of their leadership that we admire, or certain attributes or skills they've demonstrated as leaders that inspires or motivates us. So our question today is youth leaders. How are we going to lead? How are we going to inspire confidence to our fellow reporters, to our communities, that indeed we have come of age and we are leaders? Next slide, please. So there are 4 steps of leading well, and these are very critical. Just to quickly go through them. The first one, you need to clarify your vision and passion as a leader, and even as a group. That's what you need to do as a leadership structure, as a leadership committee of the CEMCOD community reporters. You need to get your vision in black and white and have it clearly stated. The next one is to listen to the community you wish to serve. In this case, the fellow community reporters. I spent so much time talking about the participation. It is through participation that we are able to harvest their different views, their different submissions about how they want us to work as community reporters. And that is very critical. And then you can also decide to come up with initiatives as community reporters in different jurisdictions that address challenges you face in your communities. It could be a project involving the community. That's where you demonstrate leadership, where you take initiative as young people, as young leaders. I think I was listening to Prosi speaking about this also, that as young people, you'll be collaborating with others and so forth. It's an opportunity really for you. Is that a question? Or it was just a feed that is coming from an unmuted mic? Okay. All right. So yes, as oh. All right, I'm just wrapping up now. I think in the next 5 minutes I should be ending. So as young people, that's what I would like really you to look at as a challenge in your 2-year tenure. What legacy are you going to leave behind? What initiatives are you going to embark on? And what impacts are you going to create? This will be your footprint as you hand over the baton to the next a set of leaders that are coming in. How you are going to lead is very critical. Next slide, please. So the vision and the other aspects, all that is very, very important. Next, I've spoken about the vision. This is what I wanted us to look at as our last point of discussion. If you were to move around, say 5 years, 10 years from now, whether you are in Bali, whether you are in Jinja, whether you are in Kampala, and you come across a headline about CEMCOD, about the community reporters in Uganda, what kind of headline would you want to see? What do you think the headline that you come across would read? What will be on that story? What will be the main message that we get from that story? So I'll leave you with these questions, but as a way of reminding you of the importance of having a vision as leaders. Yes, this is the first time community reporters in Uganda have come together on their own right to establish a leadership structure that will provide leadership for the next 2 years, and for the next period, obviously you be changing leadership, and so there's going to be leadership renewal and so forth. But the current leadership that has been fortunate enough to be our inaugural community reporters leadership team, your mandate is very broad and deep, because the tone that you create and set is going to determine, in many respects, how the other teams who take after you would continue their journey. So what kind of legacy are you leaving? What kind of legacy are you creating for CEMCOD reporters, for your communities, CEMCOD as an organization, and yourselves individually as well as leaders? I would like to end it here. Thank you very much for your attention. I'll take questions if there are questions. I'll hand over to the moderator for now.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Thomas. Yeah, it has been a very good one, and it has been one of its kind. Wow, it's great to have such facilitators who can elaborate each and everything. It brings out everything that you could think about, that maybe it is beneficial to the youths, and then he brings it to our desk. We look at it and we even analyze it. I just got happy when you were sharing about the level of participation, and down here it was having the levels of seeming involvement, like a person who may be there, but she assumes that maybe you never know most involved. And I think it's now the right time for the executive team to graduate from the level of seeming involvement to come to the level of increasing levels of participation, so that they are now going to participate fully, not seeming, but they are going to be participating. Wow, that's very great. But they are now graduating from the other level to this level. And it reminds me of what Professor was also sharing, when she told us that it's now a time of giving more solutions than complaints. Wow, that's very good. Thank you very much. Now, if you have a question, please, you can drop your question to the chat. I'm seeing here, Madam Hope is saying thanks for the great work. I'm really blessed and have grasped something, but you did tell us who you are. Please help us to know you. Wow. People want to know more about you. Mr. Thomas, they want
Okay. No, just a quick one. Just a quick one, because I know the next presenter is also getting ready with their presentation. Yes, my bio was shared on the screen. Forgive me. I then assumed that maybe you had all read, but I noticed that some people joined later. Yes, so that is my bio. I'm a youth empowerment development expert. Just to summarize it, yeah, I'm passionate when it comes to working with young people. I've been privileged to work with quite a number across the continent, and I'm always excited when I have an opportunity like this one, where I can share one thing or two on leadership with youth. Because yes, we believe that it is through their active participation and involvement that we can change the different development trajectories that we continue to see on the continent of Africa. So if we harness and embrace youth leadership, I'm confident and positive that's where we'll change that narrative and reality we face today. Yes, currently I'm in Accra, Ghana, where I work as a gender advisor with an organization called WUSC, but also continue to work with youth. I'll stop here.
Okay, thank you very much. Wow, that's a very good one. Yeah, Kurubia Moses says, thanks, Thomas. It has been such an insightful presentation from which I am sure that each one of us has taken something important home. Pleasure hearing from you. Wow, that's very good. Yeah, let me think. There is no one who is being left out. If you have any question to take, and okay, then there is Solomon. The presentation was elaborate and insight. We only request for the presentation for record and reference. Oh, that one wants the presentation to be shared with them. Okay. Nash says, thanks, Thomas. I would request that you be added to our committee group. Wow. Okay. Shall do that. Someone says again, Thomas, I see you linked to Yali, and how can one of us be part? Oh, you're linked to Yali, so how can one be part of the Yali family? Oh, I think you can answer that, and then we go on.
Okay, well, I've been privileged enough to participate in a few fellowships, and I continue to mentor youth who are participating in some of them. Yes, I'm related to Yali. I'm related to another one also, I think, where most of you will probably be very interested to pursue the opportunity called community engagement exchange. This is for youth leaders like you who are working in different communities, making the changes that we see, but as we say many a time, it's not documented. So we have opportunities like these that realize there are people out there who are making a lot of change in their communities, who are the change makers that we talk about, but are really celebrated. So it's a fellowship that you can also participate in. I'll be very happy to share the link when the next window is open. I'll also be very happy to work with some of you if you are interested in applying, because we believe that it is through leveraging these opportunities and resources that we build our network and harvest best practice globally and bring it back home, that we then can make the real tangible change that I want. So from time to time, if time allows, I'll be more than happy to come and share with you. If you reach out, I think now, because the structure is there, you have my details. You don't have to wait for the CEMCOD leadership team, Bruce and company, to bring me here. There's today's world is virtual, like Prosi said in her presentation. So wherever I am, if you reach out and say, Thomas, we want you to be with us for an hour on such a day, are you available? Then we can have that conversation and talk about some of these opportunities even in more detail. Thank you very much. Mentorship is one of my passions. So yeah, I'm offering myself to this group really to provide that as well. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, my contact I think will be shared. There's email. I think that will be shared. You can reach out through that as well. Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to really working with you. I admire the excitement, the zeal, and the passion that I'm seeing in the team. Yes, thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Yeah, I don't think we have any other questions in the chat. Maybe as we shared the concerns in the chat, we shall also be preparing to enter another session that's going to be shared by another facilitator. So let's prepare ourselves. I think for the interest of time, let's just stretch a bit, just one arm and the other. And then Mr. Edward will join us and begin right from here. Thank you very much. Edward, you're welcome.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible. You can all hear me well?
Yeah, we are getting you.
Okay,
Yes, we are getting you.
As we are, but 30 more seconds for us to stretch. I remember David had told us to stretch a bit, so. Okay, my screen is clear.
Yeah, we are good. Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, great. Good afternoon once again. I would like to thank the previous facilitators, that is Mr. Thomas Sitole, Percy, and also Bruce, who gave us a good insight into leadership, the values of CEMCOD. And I want to believe you, the community leaders now are very well prepared and equipped to go and transform your societies. And so I'm very glad this afternoon to have been asked to facilitate this session on branding yourself as a leader in this digital era. Today we're going to look at how you can brand yourself well online, and also how you can align your brand with what CEMCOD stands for, since you are now representatives of CEMCOD in your different communities. So just a brief about me. Tumwine Edward Busobas is my name. I'm a digital communication consultant and trainer. Those are some of the areas that I'm skilled in, and I'm glad that I've joined actually your WhatsApp group. I think I'll be offering mentorship and training in any of these areas as we go forward. So looking forward to opportunities that we shall be sharing together. So this afternoon, this is our topic, branding as a leader in the digital era. Okay, we want to see as a community leader today, how well can people know you for what you're good at? Okay, how are people aware that you are actually even first community leader? That's the first question. What shows on your online platforms? Beyond even online, even physically, okay? Offline, how are people able to know that you are a CEMCOD community leader and you are actually there to offer your help and service to your community? So as we begin, I would like to ask, you can share in the chat or even raise your hand. What does branding mean to you? When someone talks of branding, what comes to your mind? Feel free to raise your hand or unmute or even share in the chat. I'll be able to read what you submit. Yes, Nash?
To me, branding, I can simply interpret it as the identifying yourself, the way you can be identified that you are either a leader or a community reporter or any other leader.
Okay, thank you. That's very important. I'm glad you actually spoke first, since you are the PR. It's very important that you are able to portray yourself as, first of all, as a PR and even communicate well your stand in society. Thank you. In the chat, we have Solomon giving a unique sign that identifies you. Great. Pasco, act of making it known. Diana says branding is another word to mean naming. Thank you. Yes, all these are correct. And in summary, we can term branding as the process of defining and promoting what you stand for as an individual. Okay. Yes, Lillian adds a distinct identity. Yes. So those values that you stand for, okay, defining what the things that you stand for, it's very important as community leaders. People should be able to know the values that you portray out there, okay? As a CEMCOD community leader, how are you portraying yourself in society, okay? Is what you speak reflective of your position, what you publish on your social media, or even the way you interact with people? All this should be reflective of the organization. The trust that you have been given by CEMCOD is, do not take it very lightly, because you are now respectable people in society. People are looking up to you to service for leadership. So you need to offer that, and with the way you brand yourself online and even offline, it should portray and convey a good message about you, first of all, as an individual, and also the organization. Branding here is in two ways. To be able to reflect well with the organization, you also have to be branded well as an individual, okay? So always make sure, important, when you're out there interacting, have it at the back of your mind, you are now carrying CEMCOD on your shoulders, and what you do, the way you interact with people, should be reflective of the values of this organization. Okay, going forward. Yes, so having seen that we have seen what branding is, I've liked very much what you've shared in the group and even in the chat. Why do you think it's important for a community leader? Why do you think branding is important to you as a community leader? Once again, in the chat, or you can unmute and share with us. Anyone who'd like to share? There are people who haven't yet had speak since, community leaders, we have to be vocal and very, you need to be able to speak, share your values. And so I want to hear people like Anita, who haven't yet spoken, Hope, Muzaki, Christine. Please share with us so that at least we can hear your voice today.
Okay, so am I on?
Yes, Christine, you can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, for me, I think branding is important so that people, it is just for easy identification. Because if somebody knows that this is how I am, then it is easy for that person. For example, with the community reporters, if somebody knows that for me, I am somebody who is simple and can listen to what is paining somebody or to the issues that are in the community, then people will know that for me, that is my brand. They'll come to me, of course, and report whatever is aching them.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Christine. We see in the chat here. Yes, Diana says it helps in easy identification. Great. Any more? It makes, Lillian says, it makes one to be unique and you are, I think, differentiated from others. Yes, I think that's what you meant to say. Yes, thank you. Those are all very important, and as we're going to see later. So first of all, just like you've said, when you brand yourself as a community leader, of course, with attachment to CEMCOD, it helps to build your reputation out there, okay? CEMCOD already has built its reputation, its name out there, and so it's relying on you to not let it down, okay? So as you're out there in the communities, serving people, giving leadership, you should be able to align yourself with this CEMCOD brand so that it can help build your reputation. You never know the doors that can open for you. Just like our previous speaker, Mr. Sitole, told you, he has very many opportunities out there. So the more you do well in your communities, it helps you build your reputation. That can be a stepping stone that can open for you more opportunities. Okay, then of course that is in line with the second point. It helps to open doors to more opportunities. And also it's one of the good leadership qualities. What is your brand as an individual? What are you attached to? Okay, so it's very important to always, when you're introducing yourself to people, mention that you are a community leader with CEMCOD. Okay, this will, you never know, there'll be someone in the room or even in that organization or anywhere you are that knows CEMCOD, and it could be a way through which you can initiate and start conversations. Okay. Then also you'll be benefiting from the already established brand that CEMCOD has. I've already hinted on this. Do not take this lightly. You have huge responsibility to really carry the organization's name forward and also do good with it in your communities. So I want you to look at this as a huge opportunity to make impact in your communities and also ensure that the organization's brand and name remains relevant in people. Okay. So now we have looked at branding in the general sense. So it's important now to see how do you brand yourself as a leader in this digital era. Okay, I'm very well aware, even from the previous trainings, you have had various trainings online, social media. So we want to see how best can you brand yourself today with all this technology and gadgets that are available now. So one, of course, social media is a very, very important aspect today for branding yourself online as a community leader, okay? You need to be able to identify in your biography. Maybe you can share in the chat some of the social media platforms that you are signed up on. I want to see how much the level of participation on some of these platforms that you are, before I can proceed here. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, or something, you can just share in the chat and have a conversation quickly. Okay, you guys are not on, okay. Nash says Facebook, more Twitter, email, Instagram, okay, that's good. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, great. Okay, you can keep sharing in the chat. Yes, so it's important, first of all, to have presence online. Today, we're living in a very digital space. So most of the times when someone is looking for information about you, most of the time they'll have to first search what? Online. So today when someone goes online and searches for your name, what will come up? What will come up? Okay, is it your high school pictures when you are having fun? Or of course that is not bad, but today as a community leader, you need to brand yourself on each of these platforms in the right way so that your professional bio on social media reflects that you are actually a community what? Leader. So I think we shall be talking with the Secretariat on probably subsequent sessions on how we can best package our profiles well online. But it's very important that your bio, your biography, and what about, in simpler terms, about you on social media should be able to reflect that you're actually a community leader with CEMCOD, and you're actually in this kind of area, so that people know that you're actually someone of authority in whatever region or area that you are in. And it's one way of, like I said, of building your reputation. Someone goes on your LinkedIn profile, sees that, oh, in your history you've been a community leader, and that's how you can make different connections and even more impact. If let's say Mr. Sitole is recommending you to Yali or somewhere, and they ask for, usually these days, they want to ask for your social media profiles, and someone goes through your profile and it does not have any hint that you are a community leader, that doesn't speak well, okay? So you need to be able, I think this shall be more practical when we get the time, you need to be able to brand yourselves well on each of these platforms so that someone can easily identify that, oh, okay, Christine is a community leader based in Soroti. Nash, you forgive me, that's the name on your Zoom, so I'll go with that. But yes, someone needs to know that you are the PR, you're the PR. Oh, yeah. So that when they're talking to you, they know they're talking to a person of authority, someone who is knowledgeable about the organization and even can easily portray the values that they're actually speaking. So as continue going forward, if you see the last icon, that's an icon of like a website, okay? Beyond even social media, it's important even as a community leader, if there's nothing stopping you from even having your own website where you can showcase the things that you've done in your community, okay? So that your brand, you're first of all building your individual brand and also building it alongside with CEMCOD, so that you are seen as a person of good value in society, and you can easily open doors for yourself from your good branding you've done on social media and online. Any questions up to this point, or someone would like to share? Who in their social media profile or bio has indicated that they are a community leader with CEMCOD? If I'm to do just a random, if I'm randomly ask right now. Anyone? Is it indicated in anyone's profile here that you are now a community leader with CEMCOD? Solomon says, okay, in your CV, yes, that's also another good way. In your CV, yes, that's a good achievement to also add to your CV as well. Though your CV is not very public, but at least it's a good step. Anyone else? Okay, someone here mentioned earlier that silence means consent. So I think most of us have not yet. So this should be an awakening to you, to show you that be proud. You need to, yes, Anita says not yet, yes. But I want to believe that after this session, we'll start thinking of ways how you can align your profile with the brand of CEMCOD. And as we're going to see in the later slides, some of the criteria and some of the things that now, after people know that you are associated with CEMCOD, how should you portray yourself, especially online, the kind of actions that you do. Okay, yes, so this is what we are now going to look at, aligning your leadership brand to your organization online. What are some of the things that people are aware that can make people aware that you branded yourself as a CEMCOD community leader? Okay, so first, very important, I've mentioned this in your bio, in your about you on Facebook, Twitter, mention you are a community leader with CEMCOD, based in Sorority, based in Ginger. Some people even want help may need your services or your help and did not know that you are actually a community leader. Okay, so it's very important that is based in your bio. Then when you're tagging, I'm sure some of you, those of who are on social media, you know what tagging is. You share an image or any post, if it is related to the activities of CEMCOD or your leadership work, tag the organization, okay, so that it can be able to also share and retweet or repost what you have shared. That is one way of how people can realize that your brand is associated with CEMCOD, because if you go, let's say, the community, you say you are glad to have visited this type of people with CEMCOD as their community, and it helps to build synergy online, how people can actually realize that you're working with CEMCOD as a community leader, and you're both benefiting as an individual and also leveraging on CEMCOD's brand as well. Then share also the organization's work on your platform. When CEMCOD posts something on their Facebook, on their Twitter, you can reshare it as well, okay, so that they can also get more, they can be able to reach more people. It's also one way of showing how much impact CEMCOD has in the different areas it's operating with these different community leaders. So when you see they've shared something, retweet, share on your Facebook or on Instagram, wherever you are following them from, so that you're able to align your brand well with CEMCOD's activities. Then it's also very important to follow a CEMCOD on all platforms. If you know they're on Facebook, you follow them, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, so that you're always aware of activities that they're involved in. Sometimes you can be there, you don't know, CEMCOD is doing something where you find that you could be able to add value, but you do not know what is happening because you do not follow CEMCOD on any of its social media platforms. So how will you get to know that, hey, maybe there's this conference that they are hosting, and maybe you could be able to do this if you're not following any of the activities online. So you need to be very intentional, very keen on on how you align yourself with CEMCOD, and you'll be able to position yourself with its brand online in a very good way. Anything else that someone would like to add on in terms of this as we proceed? Is there anything I could have missed out, or anything someone wants to add? Okay, proceed. Yes, so now having looked at, we have seen it's very important to align your brand with CEMCOD and its different activities. Now, knowing that you have this kind of responsibility, it comes with weight, because now the public will know that, first of all, we've already looked at CEMCOD already built its reputable name. It's well known in people. It has changed people's lives in communities. So now you as a community leader, you have to take that very seriously. And these are some of the considerations that you need to follow, especially online, before you publish anything. Because remember, your brand is already attached to what? To CEMCOD. So first, always ensure to post factual information. We are living in an era where many people are in the rush to share anything that they can. Something comes in your WhatsApp group, or it has been shared by different people, and you want to go and post it on Facebook so that maybe you get a few likes and jokes. I'm not saying that you don't post anything funny or anything, but you know the weight of the responsibility now that you are carrying as a community leader. So you cannot just be sharing everything that you find and go to post it on your social media because you want to get 1,000 likes, okay? You're now having huge responsibility. Remember, people will have already seen your brand aligned with CEMCOD, and they're going to now think everything that you post is truthful and factual. So you need to be very critical with what you're sharing, ensure that you cross-check, you fact-check every information, so that by the time you post or share something, imagine you, a community leader, sharing false information about what is happening in your community. Do you know how many people you're going to mislead? So it's very important, by the time you put something on your Twitter account or Facebook page, you know that it is very factual. Then avoid any situations online that may damage your brand and your organization's brand, okay? Many times people go online, they start abusing each other back and forth, very bad words that you put online, people put online. Now, as a community leader, you cannot honestly be involved in such kinds of things because people are looking up to you. So you need to ensure if you have any issue that is of disparity online, you can settle it amicably without using abusive language, so that you protect your brand and the organization's brand. Remember, this is no longer only about you. CEMCOD has entrusted you with huge responsibility by giving this kind of role, and so it expects in return that you also are able to show that in your confidence and even with the way you publish information online. Then very importantly, I know, I think Percy mentioned this, that not everyone will be speaking on behalf. We have a PR person, that's Nash, but there's some essential information at least each of you community leaders should have in case you're asked anything, okay? Of course, if anything, you're not so clear about it, you can say maybe you can refer them to the PR or someone, but it's very important to have some good information about the organization. And that's why I think Mr. Bruce Vitalis first began by orienting you what CEMCOD is about, its mission. Those things should be on your fingertips. Someone should be able to wake you up at 3 in the middle of the night and you're able to share the vision, to know what, when someone asks what is CEMCOD about, you can't be there stammering and you will seem like you're not confident, and yet you are a community leader. So you need to, that's, I think, the information will be shared with you. Have these things, make sure that you go through them, so that if you're approached by anyone on the road, then you have to explain. You're speaking with authority, and it can come off that you're actually a good community leader who knows much about the organization. The next point on engaging in meaningful conversations, it's more related to the second point, avoiding conversations that may damage your brand and even the organization brand. Okay, so ensure that all your conversations, the way you relate with people online, and I'm saying, of course, the purpose of this was online, but also this transcends to offline. The way you relate with people in the field, in your communities, should be respectful and a reflection of the values of CEMCOD. Then lastly, think before you what? Before you post. Remember, you're a community leader right now, so and this is actually a summary of these other points. You can't just share anything, okay? You need to think, before you click that share button, ask yourself, will CEMCOD be proud if I share this? Me as a community leader, what does this post reflect about me? So always have that at the back of your mind, that before you share anything, as you're interacting with people online, the information you're sharing, is it truthful? Is it factual? Is it reflective of the values of CEMCOD? Is it reflective of me as an individual, as a community leader? And that is how you'll be able to create a good image and brand online. Okay. Yes, so I'll ask at this point, I'll take any questions or comments from people. Do we have any questions? Hello, any questions? Hope, I haven't heard from Hope since. Muzaki, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, at least I've heard your voice. Not good to leave a whole session and someone has not. Any questions, anything you'd like to add? Okay, so I see here in the chat, Anita says, personally, she didn't have a question, but it's an insight on the development of her social media handles. Thanks for presenting. I'm just okay. Bruce, where is the beginning and end of branding? Good question. Well, in terms of course, branding is, if you're looking at online, but I'll speak on the general sense, it's a continuous process because every action you do is a reflection of your values as yourself. So, and you know, your brand can easily be, it takes a huge amount to build it, but it takes something very small to take it down. So branding is ongoing, it's continuous. As after you establish yourself, let's say as a community leader, how are you going to continuously ensure that this is reflective whenever people meet you? Okay, so it's a continuous process. It never ends. You have to continue ensuring that you maintain a good brand and yeah, so that you are seen as of high value. I hope I've answered you well, Mr. Vitalis. Yes, Nash, your hand was up.
My question is, I'm a community reporter.
Okay.
As well as a committee member on the community Sierra committees.
Okay.
How do I brand myself when I'm to represent CEMCOD anywhere out?
Well, so first of all, you have mentioned it well. You clearly understand your roles, your community reporter, and also the committee. So, as you're introducing yourself, when you're both online and even offline, if you're going to talk to people, you can introduce yourself. I'm a community reporter and also a member of this committee, organized by what? Part of CEMCOD in this kind of initiative. And the same should also be reflective on your profile, on your different social media bios. You are a community reporter, then you're also the public relations officer for this. So you should be able to reflect in how you introduce yourself to people, but also on your profile online. I see Diana here saying, what are the disadvantages, asking what are the disadvantages of branding? Interesting question. To say it as a disadvantage, because I don't want us to see it from the aspect of being a disadvantage, because branding is, it's helping, it's to your benefit. Okay, you want people to be easily identify, you know, what kind of service you can provide. And like we already said, affiliating yourself with, let's say, the CEMCOD brand is good for you as an emerging leader, or, you know, because people are going to now trust you more with more responsibility. So I don't want us to look at the aspect of disadvantages, because this branding is only to beneficial to you as a community leader and as a community reporter. Then Solomon, my suggestion, as we train and encourage youth to embrace technological era, we should also tell them the cons and pros for caution. Yes, this is very, very, very true. Of course, technology is good. It has enabled many things, but with it also it also has its disadvantages. People have been conned online. People share, there's a lot of fake news going on. So yes, it's a very important aspect and we take it seriously. I think, I don't know, I'll be guided by Secretariat. I don't know if you've had sessions previously on how to, and some of the cons of cybercrime and everything. it's also it's very good to be well aware of how you can avoid being conned online and even some of these hackers. Yeah, thank you, Solomon. Prince Wako, how can I recover my page if it's locked? You will have to, there's a process, you have to write to Facebook. There's a whole appeal process that you have to go through. Then how can I avoid tagging me in posts? Yeah, that's a setting. You have to go in your Facebook settings. All this is really practical and needs really hands-on. So there's a setting you can do to enable people from stop tagging you. Yeah, I think anytime we physically interface Prince, we should be able to address that issue. Then Diana, is there any chance for training us on how to use media platforms very well? Because some of us don't know how to use. Well, I want to believe that the opportunity will be there. It's good that you have addressed this in the chat, and Mr. Vitalis is on, Dampros is on. Yeah, if when the need arises, we can always arrange to see that you're very well aware of how to use these different media platforms so that you're able to maintain and build your reputation online. Anita says, I think while branding, one should understand their strength and weakness plus personality. Yes, it's very important to know who you are as a person, of course, your personality, your strengths and weaknesses, but above all, everything, because each of us has weaknesses, you should be at the back of your mind. Like I said, always think before you post, and also remember that you are carrying huge responsibility as a community leader working with CEMCOD. Okay, thank you for your questions and submissions in the chat. Really appreciate. Yeah, I also appreciate your participation. It has been lovely talking to you this afternoon. Thank you. I think I can hand over back to the moderator, David.
Wow, we are so much glad to hear from you, Edward. Thank you very much. Yeah, it has been it has been our pleasure to hear from you. Yeah, taking us through all that essential part, branding. This is the beginning and the end, as Mr. Bruce was asking. It is the beginning and the end of someone's success or failure, because the moment you fail to brand yourself the right way, that means you've just begun on your downfall. So the way you brand yourself, maybe before the public, when you're moving, the way you do your things, some of the things they use just to tell us that when you're moving around as a leader, don't move while eating. And then you say, there is no one who understands me here. You'll be from Ginger, you go to Sorority. As you're moving around, your Prince Wako moving around eating your chapati. Then I will say, hello, I know, should I say hi to you? But I know you. Then you're like, who knows me here in Sorority? Please, you brand yourself the right way. Yeah, thank you very much. He talked about tagging and sharing CEMCOD's contents. Please, if you are an executive member, that is part of your work, especially sharing CEMCOD's content. Please, if you find any post of CEMCOD on your Facebook, please share it. That shows that CEMCOD is being made of, that people are enjoying the services of CEMCOD. But if you just look and then you scroll, you pass by, then another person will say, now what about this? So someone else may also get to know CEMCOD when you're the one who shared it on your Facebook account. So please, let's all be sharing those contents that we find on Facebook, on our Twitter, anywhere you find it, please share it. Yeah, some things we also post in the WhatsApp group are meant to be shared. I mean, you share it to some other WhatsApp groups. You tell them we had such and such an interface meeting in such and such an area, and it was so great. CEMCOD was there. People who know CEMCOD, we understand CEMCOD. They will say, "Wow, these are the people we've been hearing." Oh, wow! Thank you very much. We are going to another part that I think marks the end of our sharing today and our meeting today. And this part is the work plan and ideas, work plan, ideas and suggestions. Yeah, we are going to hold this together. All of us, everyone is going to be part of this, the whole executive team. Now, we've come to a boardroom. This is now the boardroom where we are, each and everyone will have a position to sit, and then we all contribute towards the movement of CEMCOD, towards what we are going to do, towards which kind of CEMCOD we need to have. And I will first call upon Madam Prosi to come and share with us and formulate how are we going to plan, how are we going to suggest these ideas, and how best can we bring up these ideas to make sure that each and everyone is participating. Please, Madam Prosi, you're welcome.
Thank you, David, and thank you so much to all the presenters, Edward and Thomas. One thing, I don't know if Edward is still online, and I'm thinking that this is important to address. The last question, of course, it came in late from Moses, where he's asking that how do you handle your media platform where there is personal life and leadership life? I thought maybe if Edward could come and try to address that before I could also say something about it.
Okay, I can answer that. Yes, that's a very good question, and actually it affects many people. So I know as a person, you might want to share something that is probably outside your scope or anything, but knowing that you're a community leader first, you of course you can share about your personal life as long as it is really respectable in the standards of yourself as a leader. Okay, we're not saying we're stopping you from posting anything outside CEMCOD or anything, but as long as it is respectful and really people can see that there's nothing really strange about it. The other thing probably is if you really want to share your jokes and everything, people today these days even create 2 accounts. Okay, so you can have your account, which is your professional one, and then you have another one. It could not be in your names, probably. Maybe could have like another name, which is your AKA name or something where you can share freely. Otherwise, if you're already branded really as a community leader and on your online platforms, it would really be important that you're really quite respectful and cautious with how you post, especially if you want to maintain your brand and also maintain the brand of the organization. Maybe Percy, you can add on to that.
All right, thank you, Edward. I don't think I could have said it any better, but yeah, that's exactly that. You know, we don't know whether is your personal life that weird that you really think it should be very different from what you stand for, as in your values, because I think whatever we do depicts the values that we believe in. Whether you're making fun of something or you're trying to crack some jokes here and there, I think it's about the things that we believe in. So, and that also affects your own branding. You see, if you want to be known as a comedian, I'm telling you, the day you'll mention something that is true, people would still think, I think this one is just comedy, you see? So that's the brand, you know? Yet if somebody has branded themselves as that leader, you see, if they post something, you will see people asking, has somebody hacked into his account? Are you seeing? Because there is a way that people have known you, or you've made yourself to be known a certain way. So the moment it happens differently, there will always be question marks. People will be like, is he really the one? Please find out, you know, maybe somebody has hacked into his account, maybe. So that's the whole essence of branding. How would you like people to know you? So it's up to you. And usually it shouldn't be very different. You're not two people, you're one person. Because you're not a chameleon that today you're red and you change with whatever comes on. So I think that's that. And yes, I see Bruce says leadership comes with sacrifice. And one of them is acting very ordinary. Fine. So yeah, I think we shall think about it. You know, you build that with time also. As you immerse yourself into this leadership journey, more is going to come. You're going to find your niche. You're going to find things you stand for. You're going to find also that probably there are certain things you're changing about yourself all of a sudden, but it's a process. It's a process. And we think that this is just the beginning of the journey. If you haven't already been there, you're starting, and with time, you grow with it. You grow with it. So thank you. I thought it was a very important question because very many people have clashed with themselves. It's just clashing with yourself. You don't know what you want to be. But that's why we were talking about vision. If you followed through all the trainings, what's your vision, what do you want to be, all those ones inform the way you act and the way you move with life. So thank you, Moses, for the question, and thank you, Edward, for this session. Back to David, unless there are more questions, maybe.
I think there are no questions, but it has just come to our notice that the chairman is online. Our chairman is here, of the chairman of the community reporters is online. So I think before Prose comes in with the work plan, let the chairman say hi to us. Only that he failed, his gadgets failed to be able to activate because of the network issues, but he's online. So he's on the same gadget with the Babidi Vivian. So let him have a chance of saying hello to us before Prose goes on with the work plan. Chairman.
Hello. Hello.
We are getting you, Mr. Chairman.
You are getting me? I'm with Asman, the newly elected chairman. In fact, I was caught of so many things as Mr. Mwanja has said. But what Mr. Edward Tumine has been taking actually got, and I'm right. Are you getting me?
Yeah, we are getting you, but you just be more audible.
Yeah. So sorry for my coming late, but I'm with you. So I think Manja, we can continue.
Okay, thank you very much, our chairman. Yeah, you know, everyone was worried, why is the chairman not here? where is the chairman? So people were scared and worried. So now we are strong, that the big man is also in the house. Proceed, we may go on. Thank you. Proceed. Go on with the work plan.
Oh, thank you, David, and nice to hear from our chairperson, and also just to let him know he was well represented, because we had the vice from morning up to now. So, but we are happy that finally he's here. If the two of them were not there, then it would be a big worry. Yeah, so thank you for joining, for taking time. We also understand the challenges that come with connection. It's not easy. Data is very costly, so we understand all that. But we are always happy to see that people and young leaders like you make effort to be part of such engagements. So going forward, I think I'm going to let us, I don't know, Edward, is there a way we can use the whiteboard for people to populate the ideas? Because I would like really to throw this back to you as a team. The whole purpose of this exercise is that we are going to be on this team for the next 2 years. I know from the time you started your campaign, or even before the campaign, from the time you were thinking that, oh, I think I can contest for this post, there are certain things that you had in mind. Some of those things, you ably put them in your manifestos, but some of them you might not have articulated them because of the limited time. But for now, we would like to hear what you think you would like to achieve as a committee in the next 2 years for our constituency, which is our community reporters family. And then we begin from there. All ideas are valid. That's what I always tell you. All ideas are valid. Don't sit back and say, if I said this, probably they will say, I take a janja, I tell you which, you know. I'm sorry for throwing in the Luganda words for our colleagues who might not get it, but yeah. So all ideas are valid. We want you to be open-minded, like we said. We want you to be free. This is your platform. This is your era, if we might call it. If you are Miss or Mr. Uganda, you would be saying, yeah, this is my reign. But it is still your reign as a leader, you know, and there are things that you've thought about, there are things that you're still thinking about. So those are the ones that we would like us to share in these remaining minutes. I think there are about 25 minutes that we have to close this. Let's take maybe like 5 minutes to think through and 3 minutes to write that down. You can first of all write it in your notebook, or you can just write it direct in the chat. Since we are not using the whiteboard, I thought we would be using the whiteboard. Let's see. I will see, but for now, let's take this time. Think about what we would love to see done for our community. That is the community reporters family. And then we shall get to the how. Yeah. I don't know whether I'm clear or I need to clarify a little more. Was I clear or was I talking to myself?
You were clear to me. You were clear. I got you, please.
Okay, so did I say 5? We have 8 minutes to do this, please. And then jot it down in the chat box. I've started counting down. I think we have about a minute remaining, but also if you can actually transfer and write what you've typed in the chat on the whiteboard. Is everyone able to see the whiteboard? And if you just want to practice your way out. I guess we are done. Or are we still writing? I'm looking at our time. No one used the whiteboard. It's okay. We are going to learn how to use it next time. I can see Baviria there strolling around the whiteboard and wanting to type something. Okay, so I think we can go through, just to scroll through. I'm very sure that our secretary already started her work by compiling all these ideas that are on the chat. I didn't think that I needed to remind you, but that is fine. Yeah, so let's just scroll through, and of course, more and more ideas are needed. We shall again get some time and sit and look through and see which ones are workable, which ones are not, which ones we can start with, which ones can wait. So I'll begin with the last one. But let's begin with Nash. Nash says on social media handles. Okay. Find out all challenges CRs are facing in doing their work. Okay. That is from Christine. Bavaria says the committee should plan to reach out to the CRs in their districts. Fine. Branding is key in all aspects. That's from Anita. Pasco says having a work plan. That's what we are discussing. Hope, I think we can also have educative drama to use, acted by community reporters like that of Mokanya. We are more than capable of doing that. That's nice, you know. Okay, very true. I'm not sure which one that is. Creating some entertainment for community reporters per year. We shall need to elaborate on that. What kind of entertainment? Should we do the Vivolu? We want to have shows or what? But that is good. Then Christine says, you as administrators, please try to always show to these CRs, because this makes, I don't know, makes, I think them know you are with them. I don't know what that is exactly. What do we always show? Okay, but we shall take that and then we shall get time to think through. Teamwork and work plans for community reporters. Find out what someone is more interested in doing as a community reporter. That's to set talent associated with CEMCOD activities. Having a work plan. We as community reporters at times will need data to be provided to enable us to be represented in the online meetings that take very long hours, like the one for today. Please, it's just a request. Diana, that is noted. Make sure we do something to boost community reporters' working moods. You have to find out those moods. Hey, Christine. Okay, then Hope says virtual meetings are okay, but at least we get a day and visit the community reporters in their different districts for physical interaction is better. We agree. Forming a savings group as community reporters. That's from Anita, very brilliant. Visiting the community reporters in different districts, yes, that has come up. Thanks, Lillian. Then someone says, oh, this is a long one. My heart was to have us united as a family and to be one. I had a thought I shared with a friend, which I think will be helpful to us with the issues of standing with each other, not only in sorrow, but also joy. And that was that if every member would solicit at least 2,000 every month, that would be a great start for us. Just in case of anything we get from our monthly contributions. Now that is Madam Welfare speaking. I can really see the mandate in that. I think that is quite brilliant. And the issue here is how to now get everyone interested and participating in this. I think this is very good. I would support it. I would actually pay my 2,000. Am I allowed? Anyway, I don't know whether I'm allowed to also pay my 2,000, but I will do that very willingly. Hope that is a great idea if you could just take it up, but we shall discuss it as a committee and then we see how to pass it on. Bridging the differences between old and new community reporters, for we are all one. Hey, reunion at least annually, inter-district workshops, monthly or quarterly trainings, community interfaces, talk shows and debates to be planned on a monthly basis. Branding CRS, that is to say identifications and equipment. Great, great ideas there. Physical meetings, Pascal, thank you. We need to look at the welfare of community reporters, more engagements with the community reporters, with the CEMCOD authorities, branding for our CRS in terms of equipment to use while at work. We need to start having tours for the community reporters in and outside the country. Now that is the chairperson speaking. I like this. More outreaches are needed for better engagements with the communities. Great. Okay. We should make sure we don't leave other CRs behind. I see most of them are nowhere to be seen. We should find out what is wrong with them. That is true. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I left out some. Call for General Assembly for all community reporters. Great, Christine. Then we need to have at least a reunion of community reporters at least every year, if possible. Great. Oh, yeah. Is everyone feeling energized like me? I need some shout outs.
Yes, yes.
Okay, how do you feel about all these suggestions? How do you feel?
On my side, I feel like if at all, if possible, I think they shouldn't leave anything out.
They, who?
The committee and the EDs.
We, you know, communication. We, can I hear that?
We shouldn't leave anything out.
Nice. Now we are speaking as a team, you know.
Yes.
Yes, Andrew?
I see success in the next 2 years. Most of the challenges are going to be solved, but people have been facing for so long.
Great. Yeah, that's it. Anyone else wants to say something about what we've computed so far? Moses, you've raised your hand.
Good evening, everyone. I see when whatever we've put across come to pass, really this is going to be a mahogany organization of all time. And the teamwork, that to say that even by the time we will be handing over our leadership, the other colleagues will be saying, should we extend like what was done to the LCs?
Okay, all right, but we shall not extend you. But you guys have, you know how you get your way around. You might convince this team that they should add you some more 2 years.
We need more Kisanja.
Okay, let's see. We shall wait at the end of this first Kisanja, then we decide whether we should add you.
Constitution can be amended.
Oh, Okay. All right. So since time has really gone, and that you put in, we are going to continue this conversation on our executive platform, which is the WhatsApp group that we created as a way of harmonizing all these ideas, and then sitting down and prioritizing them, because they're all great and we think they're all doable, but only with better planning and with great teamwork. If we work as a team, we know that everything is achievable. So we would like to continue this. I've tasked our secretary, please just compute all the ideas as they came in. Please don't edit. Yeah, then we shall sit down and we see how to discuss them going forward. But before that, we had, I think David had a suggestion for how we can keep the momentum without things that need money. How do we keep the momentum, especially that now we have your whole constituency in one group? So how do we keep them motivated? What are those things we can try to engage in, apart from people writing the community reports that they're not posting every day? But we hope that we can implore community reporters to share stories that are happening in their communities. So I would like to invite David in, I think, 2 minutes, please, so that people can really rest. In 2 minutes, if we can table what we wanted to share with you as the team, if you think it's workable, well and good. If we need more time to discuss it and see how it will be done, then we can still give it some more time. But it's a weekly schedule that aims to keep our WhatsApp group active. So David, I would like to invite you to try and just go through in 2 minutes, please. Then after that, we shall invite our executive director, Mr. Vitalis, to come and close this meeting today. But David, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Percy. Yeah, it has been so good. I just enjoyed when I was thinking. There is a last comment that has just come in. People are also requesting for allowances. Good enough, we are planning together now. Even though we say let's give all the money that we could maybe facilitate for some other things, we give it to ourselves. It's now we. There's no one to blame now. We are planning together. Wow, that's very good. But as we plan, let's put it in mind that we are planning for our communities. So as you plan, please remember your community, where you're coming from. Yeah, we had, in fact, I had a suggestion that I presented to Madam Kosi, where we had some chat, but we wanted also to bring it to your attention so that we still make a decision together. And this planning was to be, a planning for a week, how we could keep the WhatsApp group, the general WhatsApp group active. You find that in the days, people are not active. People after elections, some went to their own businesses, some are not even giving in a high, but we can see how to make it more active. Yeah. So we came up with a suggestion that on Monday, we shall be having some at least 2 hours of knowing your leaders, where we can say that, okay, we are bringing up a leader, maybe our chairman of the community reporters, maybe the one in charge of welfare, or any other leader that we can bring in. But as well, we can begin with our leaders just within the group. We come and know about them. We we post your biography to the main platform, and then that person will also be given some time to come and also tell us who he or she is. We can give you like 1 or 2 hours, and people will ask you questions, and we know more about you. In this, we want to know more about our leaders. After us, we can also come up with some other leaders whom we can invite to invite on the platform, like the leaders we are working in line with, the district chairpersons, the councillors who understands CEMCOD better. Those ones we move with just within our communities. So that is on Monday, and then on Tuesday we shall be still reflecting on that, so that on Friday, on Wednesday, we come up with another activity. And on Wednesday, we suggested it to be meeting the experts in any aspect of life. So we thought that it may be of value to meet these experts, even though an expert is a community reporter. You can come up and you say, me, I'm an expert. We have you for that day. You come and you share with us the expertise that you have. Maybe if you're Mr. Kuruya, you can share with us the expertise you have in reading news, how to cut the baits we send you, how to fill up the stories, and we hear of tube baits, what. So you come and give us that expertise. We can also get someone who is a farmer. You can also come and tell us, please, you're there dealing in potatoes, dealing in tomatoes. You tell us how you grow tomatoes from day 1 to the last day, so that someone else can pick up that idea and say, oh, this one can also develop me or someone else. And then on Thursday, we shall also have a rest as we meditate and go through the areas of the expert. And then on Friday, we come up with sharing your stories. We share our stories. You share, maybe we may say that let's get 2 to 3 stories. We share about those. We internally share about them. The stories that have been worked upon by the community reporters, they are the ones that we want. Or we may say that let every person be posting his or her stories, that at least 2 of them that person has tried to make or to come up with in that week. So that one will be on us. Either to say that let everyone be posting, or we say that no, we shall be getting some 2 stories from Soroti this week. The next week we get the 2 stories from Ginger. The next week we get stories from such and such a place. But what we want is to share your stories to be shared on our platforms. That's what we want. And then as Saturday will be a business spotlight, where everybody will be coming up with your announcements of the business. You come and show us what you're doing. You may even upload your videos, your audios on the platform, the main platform. So that's all about business. Your DJ Nash, you want to come up with a chivalry that is going to take place, or a concert that is coming, the upcoming concert. You want to talk about it. That's Saturday. You're there, you're making your hot dogs, your hot cakes. Please come up with those businesses. We want to know you. You're making cakes for the braids. Please come and show us your businesses. And that is Saturday. Then a Sunday, we shall have to rest as we prepare for Monday again. So that's the weekly program that we had suggested to present to you as the executive team, so that we decide together and we make a conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, David. We would like to hear your feedback on that, and then we move very fast so that we can invite our executive director to close. Bavaria Lillian has her hand raised. Please go ahead.
Not Bavaria Lillian, this is the chairman. This is
Oh,
Asman.
wow. Okay. Please go ahead.
I've heard from Mr. Mwanja Daudi. All that which he has raised on Monday, which is tomorrow up to Saturday. At what time? In fact, he has to tell us the time we shall be presenting.
Oh, thank you.
I think that the time is for us to agree upon as a team, and not David. Or David presented, and then it's okay. It's a very good question that we also think about the time, because David was only mentioning the days. What is the most appropriate time you think that this can happen? Because we are not going to do this the entire day. I think he was talking about 1 to 2 hours of each of those, because we also appreciate that people have different things that they're doing. You guys have different jobs you're involved in, and you can't just be online the whole day. So 1 to 2 hours, and we would like to find out from you what is the most appropriate time you think this can happen. Anyone can raise their hand, or you can put in the chat, or you can just open your microphone and speak.
Yes.
All right, Andrew, you have your hand up?
Yeah. Like for the case of Monday, I think we can be using evening hours. That's from around 7 up to around 9 p.m. evening, according to the Monday program. Then Wednesday we can use such activities for a whole day. Then that of I saw that of Saturday, somebody can advertise the whole day still, as people keep sharing their ideas about the topic on the platform.
Okay, and I also see Anita also says 7 to 8 p.m. And I like the segmentation that you've done about Monday and Wednesday, because Monday and Wednesday are hosting days. It means we need someone to host, we need someone to be hosted. So between 7 and 9, I would also agree with that, maybe, unless other executives have something else to say. Then Friday and Saturday, I also see that as anytime. Anytime, your business, you can wake up in the morning as early as 4 a.m. and post it. I think that can be the whole day, anytime someone wants to post. And also Friday, stories of the week, anytime you can wake up in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and then post your stories. You still have your hand up, Andrew? Okay, the hand is down. All right, any other person who wants to contribute to this? Do we think between 7 and 9 for Monday and Wednesday is workable for us? Like, we shall have come from our day's hassles and we are ready to get to the platform. Who has their hand up?
My microphone is on.
Okay, please go ahead.
Oh, yeah, for me, I agree with 7 to 9, because I think everyone is now back from whatever they do during the day. So I think with that time, I second, we should go with that. Thank you.
You're welcome, Christine. Okay, so we shall extend this to our chat group, I think, for the executives. I'm really worried. Sorry, I'm rushing, but I'm just looking at the time and I'm like, oh my God, you know, we've really gone over the time. So please allow me invite Mr. Bruce Vitalis to close, to give us his concluding remarks and close this workshop for today. But allow me also say thank you so much for keeping it to the platform, for taking your time, for using your data. It's not easy to be part of this training today. We are really grateful. Bruce.
Thank you, Prosim, for this invitation to close. I know afternoons are not always very easy, especially having an online engagement, which has been on since morning. Well, I want to thank all the leaders for attending very keenly, our facilitators, Prosi, Thomas, David, and Edward. Thank you so much. Keeping you around up to this time is not an easy task. So I only want us to remind ourselves about sustainability in whatever we do. The most important thing is sustainability. We can have great ideas, we can have the energy, but we need to sustain it. And as we sustain all these efforts, let us not forget the program, a great one. And we're speaking about those, I mean our radio partners, I mean the community leaders. We work with the government officials, all of whom we bank on to have our communities transformed. I thank you very, very much for this workshop and declare it closed. Thanks.
Thank you. Guys, I think that's the end. We really don't have anything to add. Thank you so much and God bless you.
God bless you too.
God bless you too. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Yes, is there anyone who has not exited? Yes, Anita, you've not exited yet. Mm. Okay. Mm. Those are bargains. Mm. Hello. Hello, Prosi. Hello.
Yes, Bruce.
Yes.
Okay, girls, hold on, give me 1 minute. I was talking to some people who are at the academic Sunday. Bruce.
Okay.
Yeah, is it okay? Let me call you like in the next 5 minutes, eh?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm getting you.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes, I'll call you. I'll come back.
So I can exit here now.
Yeah, I think you can exit. Yeah, then I'll call you on WhatsApp. Okay. Let me end.